Hello, everybody. I'm TJ. I'm here with my brother Tim, and you have stumbled once again upon the Yinzer Bros international podcast. It's been sad for us Yinzer Bros because the Steelers, they just stink. They're terrible. I don't know how else to describe it. Tim, how would you describe the Steelers in one word? Tim is so distraught he can't even think of a word. Like sad?
It's worse than sad. I don't know if I don't. You ever get the call? You have the discussion when you're talking to your dad, and they don't say they're mad at you or they're angry at you or they're disappointed. And like that hurts worse.
Yeah, sure.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Tim, this is the state of it right now. We are placing all of our hope in Mason Rudolph, Tim. Mason.
The Mason train.
Oh, dear
Hold
Lord.
up. I got it on backwards, I think.
You do. I don't even know how Tim still has it. How's that helmet still fit on your head, Tim?
The Mason train.
Oh, Tim, that is your head has grown significantly since
this thing is unbelievably tight.
So what happens if Mason goes out there and lights it up?
I go back to a state of hell that I've never seen in forever for me.
It's bad. I mean, it's bad everywhere. The offense is bad. The defense is bad. The coaching is bad. Everything's bad.
I've never seen it like this. I remember weeks ago after we beat this, I believe we beat the Cincinnati Bengals. I told you this team was crap then. I was like, the only thing difference between us and the crappiest teams in the league is we don't have 2 wins. I'm like a prophet.
You are, Tim.
I don't. They're bad, TJ. They're awful.
They're
awful.
But they're not so bad to where we're going to get like they've managed to screw this up too to where we're not going to get a good draft pick. I mean, a great draft pick either.
No, you know they're winning another game or two. TJ, you know it's gonna happen.
I know. It just to screw us up.
I know. It's just
it's awful.
It's like watching. It's like watching a train wreck every week. Like it's so hard to watch them. It's unreal. And Mitch Trubisky, dude. If I don't, Mason has a jerk face. Mason is stupid face. He's just dumb face. I don't know what his.
Yeah.
If I ever see him play quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers again,
he's just bad.
He always looks like he's scared he did something wrong.
Yeah, you're right.
Even when he does something right, he's so bad.
So, and do you think too? I mean, it looks to me, and perhaps I'm wrong. It looks like that. Tomlin's starting to lose some of these young players.
Oh, you think, TJ? You think? Okay, 2 years ago when we drafted George Pickens, just by looking at his photo, what was my exact words? We'll be lucky to get 3 years out of him, TJ. We're right on schedule. On schedule.
You're right.
The kids cater to this in my life.
Yeah. Hey, Deontay's not too far behind him. I mean, it's ridiculous.
But at least Deontay knows when he screws up. Like he seems like he's getting kind of okay. He knew he ticked people off, so he's kind of keeping it low. George doesn't care.
No.
He doesn't care, which is unbelievable to me.
Maybe we can trade him to the Bears for a couple of high picks.
TJ, I'm done dealing with the Bears. I don't want any more Bears on this team. I don't want any more Notre Dame people on this team. I don't want anybody. You know what this all started? You know, I was thinking about the other day. I was like, when did this team start falling apart? And I was trying to put my finger on it. It wasn't when Ben left. Believe it or not, this team started falling apart when Stephon Tuitt bailed on this team.
That's true.
It's 100% true. Ever since that, things have been done. It's the Notre Dame effect. Anything they touch goes to crap. I don't consider Jerome Bettis because he went to another team first. When we get them, they just turn into crap. It makes the team turn into crap. Get them out of here.
I agree.
It's the truth.
I mean, what would happen if
I thought about it, I'm going, dude, Tua left them kind of high and dry with the salary, and they just went to hell after that. They went to hell.
What would happen if they would have kept Hargrave and got rid of Tua?
We'd probably still suck, TJ. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. You wouldn't have to worry about your defensive line as much.
Yeah.
You could have maybe, I don't know, drafted some other people that aren't like, spent some picks on your line that's still terrible. The line is still brutal.
You know what's weird though, and I mean, we both played. Yeah. One of the things that really concerns me is this: we have no attention to detail. When I heard Merrill Hodge talk about the tight ends, and he's like, they're the worst route running tight ends in the league. I watch our wide receivers; they're not crisp, they're not sharp. Now Deontay runs great routes. Don't get me wrong. It seems like they're not coached well.
Oh, you think? Like Pat Meyer, he's a terrible offensive line. TJ, he got fired from Carolina with the Ron Rivera crew when they stunk.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, he wasn't with the. He was with the guy that's in Nebraska. The head coach in Nebraska. He was there when he was here in Carolina. He got fired with that crew. That team stunk in Carolina. So what do? You hire them. They got a bunch of losers as coordinators. They do. Even the defensive coordinator guy was with. I think before he came to Pittsburgh, he was like, he got fired as a defensive coordinator because he stunk. They got a bunch of losers as coordinators.
Yeah.
And again,
it seems like Tomlin does not surround himself with guys to push him. He surrounds himself with guys that he can push around, I think.
You let the best coordinator you let the best guy that you had just walk out of the building. And guess what he did to Minnesota's defense? Yeah. They were dead last year. They're like a top 5 defense this year.
Yeah.
I don't. Right. All of all of Tomlin's good assistants, when they brought him in, they forced him to keep those assistants. And those were all Cowher's assistants.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're right.
He has brutal coaches. I don't know if everybody, and like I said, everybody just is on Tomlin, so he's the greatest coach, sliced bread, blah, 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 blah. You can't name one coach from a coaching tree. He's been coaching for 16 years. He has not won.
Yeah.
TJ, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an unbelievable thing. Not one coach. Can you name one coach from his coaching tree?
Well, I mean, you have other guys like Belichick's the same way. Name a great coach in Belichick's tree.
I get what you're saying, but they all had opportunities. At least you had some head coaches come out of there. You had a bunch of head coaches come out of there.
Well, they did, but they stunk. I mean, they were.
Okay, it doesn't matter, but you did. Name one on Tomlin that did that.
No, I don't think.
There's not one.
I mean,
Bruce Arians wasn't under him. He was a Cowher guy.
He was a Cowher guy. Yeah, he was a Cowher guy.
TJ, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I could get like even McVay and those dudes have been around the league for 5 years. They have a coaching tree. Shan, coaching tree. This dude's been around for 16 years. Not one coach. Is that weird? Am I the only one that's weird?
I think it is odd. I think it's odd and span. So I don't know. It seems like things are falling apart. I did see some stuff, the insider stuff. They said that they're talking about stripping away some of his power and stuff like that. I don't know. I mean, the question is this: are the Rooneys to a place to where they're like, yeah, what does he got? One more year on his deal?
One more year on his deal.
Yeah. So maybe
TJ, you either have to extend him or you have to either trade him or part ways, because if I'm an assistant and I know that guy's on a 1-year deal, are you going to come here? Because probably the next coach you're going to hire anyways, if he leaves, they're going to clear house because they want their own guys in here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's either you extend them or you part ways next year or the end of this year with them. I don't. It just doesn't. And you know what? And it's true. It's not all on Tomlin. A lot of it is, but the culture, I think a lot of it is. But, dude, look at Colbert's drafts before he left.
Oh, you're right. The
past 4 or 5 years of his drafts have been brutal. I saw a stat. I'm going, past 5 of his drafts, like, there's like 5 people on this team from that draft.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking like one. I'm talking like the past 5 years of his last. It's unbelievable.
I think you're right. No, they got to make some wholesale changes. So I don't know. Before we talk, a little bit about Cincy, which won't be a ton. Let's look at the Yinzer mailbag tonight. What's the Yinzer mailbag? It's when you, the fan, get to ask us, the Yinzer Bros, anything you want. If you have any questions, you can email us at yinzerbros@gmail.com. And if you're lucky enough, you get to hear your question being read and answered. Tim's
This
losing
helmet is
he's losing some blood to the head there.
unbelievable.
I mean, I think that helmet might be a little smaller than your head, actually. But so
TJ,
Tim, open up the Yinzer mailbag.
I took out all the pads of this helmet, and it's still unbelievable.
How did you wear that back in high school, Tim?
It was snug, but it felt real. If I put a face mask on this right now, I wouldn't be able to breathe.
Yes, technology.
The mush has been mush. All right. Seems like the boys have been on an emotional roller coaster all year. Has this been the toughest season to follow of this team in your life?
In my life, I mean, I walked through some pretty dry years. I mean, I remember the Kent Graham years. I mean, you think these guys are bad? He was pretty bad.
Yeah, dude's living in a big house by me. Again, he's living off the bags of Tom Harris. Tom Harris giving bags to Kent Graham.
Yeah, I remember. I remember like when Bubby Brister came in and he was going to save us. Think about this: when you think Bubby Brister is going to save you, Tim. I mean, that's bad.
But my big thing is like this. Like for me, it's like there's been years that have been bad, but this doesn't. TJ, I don't even feel like we're at rock bottom yet.
No.
That's what makes it. Right. That's what makes it even sadder. You're like, dude, this is we're half of the Titanic's in the ocean right now. The whole thing ain't there yet, and I don't know when that whole boat's going to be going into the ocean, and we're going to build a new boat because I don't think that it's going to come for a while.
No, I mean, dude. I mean, we got spoiled for 19 years with the big guy.
But even before that, TJ. We were still a little spoiled because we were still going to AFC. We were losing every AFC title game we went to, but we went there with the Cordells and the Neil O'Donnells. TJ, this is bad. Like even back in those days when you were like, oh, you got Neil O'Donnell, you got Cordell, you got somebody like the Cowher when we didn't have a ton of quarterbacks, the Cowher years. Yeah. You at least were like, this team's, they're a quarterback away.
Yeah.
These dudes right now, they're a lot. It's like again, you feel like half the Titanic's like. Well, dude, they're calling for people. They're calling for women and children, and me and you were still on the boat going.
No, it is a roller coaster ride for us. It really. I mean, these last 3 losses have been just. Even like last week, you're up 13-0, and then the bottom falls out to a not a good Indianapolis team at all. They throw up 30 plus on you. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
TJ, I mean, I'm happy that my buddy. I mean, I was happy his kids were sick, so I didn't have to go. I was scheduled to go down to Indy. TJ, my soul would have left my body. In the rest of everything that I would have been in an Indy. It would have been there in that stadium, just floating around. I'd have been floating around, hanging around the banners. We came in second in the AFC banners and down at the Colts thing. And so I'm happy I didn't go down there. Like just watching it on TV. TJ, it was so brutal because like my daughter, my wife, and my father had to go. They went and met with like Elsa and Anna. I was by myself.
Sadness.
With my thoughts. It was brutal.
That was brutal. No, I'd say it's up there. There's no doubt. What else you got in that bag?
All right. Clearly Watt is a leader on the D, but seems like there's no leadership on offense. Do you see anybody stepping in that role on the offensive side of the ball?
It can only be one guy. It's got to be Kenny. Kenny's going to have to figure it out. It ain't Trubisky, that's for sure. He's terrible.
That guy.
He's terrible. They don't have they got a boy. They're missing like a Pouncey. They're missing somebody that's nasty, and it's going to take control of the line.
I think Broderick Jones can do that. I do
be that guy, but
they need a center to do that. It's going to like Mason Cole is bad.
He's terrible. Yeah, he's terrible. Yeah, and I mean you're not getting it from any of the wide receivers. Peterson a little bit, but I mean I don't know.
I don't understand why like guys. I mean I don't know if I'm like T.J. Watt or
I mean, you get a little bit out of that from Najee too, but
I'd be punching dudes in the face. Like I would take Pickens back in the backyard and just. I think people are scared of him because he's a crazy person.
I agree. He's nuts.
Still,
and he's got size. He ain't like Antonio Brown crazy, who's just a little midget guy that you could before he got up on the thing.
I get it, but if I was Landon Roberts seems like he's on that crazy side. But even Cam, I would would put his underwear over his head and hang him in a locker and say, "Hey, Pickens, get your head right."
You sound more and more like Tom Harris every year, Tim.
Oh, dude, man. I said that the other day. I'm hearing like I'm thinking like thoughts are going through my head like about Tom, and I'm going, dude, I'm turning into dad. This is unbelievable. Okay. Let me see what else he's got here. He got a whole bunch of stuff about Mitch because Mitch was a Bear quarterback, and I knew he sucked before he came, anyways.
No, he was
So
bad.
I don't even want to.
No, he's bad.
I don't. He's terrible.
So here's a
man.
question: is Mitch on the team next year?
No, no. There's TJ. If you're Mitch Trubisky, do you want to be on this team?
No.
Looking for his standpoint. You're getting yanked for this guy right now.
I mean, where does he go? The other
Nowhere.
everybody
You know where he
they-
goes? The USFL or wherever. There's nowhere, dude. That guy stinks. He's made enough of money. He doesn't need to do anything.
That's true. He has.
Let me see what else Mark got here. If anything interesting to mush. Okay. Give me your top 5 craziest wide receivers in Steeler history. That's a good question.
Top 5. Well,
Top 5.
I mean, is it in a descending order, or is it like the craziest, or we're just gonna throw some against the wall?
No, give me your bottom. Give me your 3. Give me your top 3 from 3 to 1.
Well, I mean, obviously, first you got to talk. I mean, the king of that is Antonio Brown. He was nuts.
See, but here's the thing about AB. He never let it show on the field.
No, he played. He was a player.
So to me, I can't even put him in my top 1 because he was a player. Pickens,
Yeah, but he was nuts. I mean, look
Pickens,
what he's doing
Pickens
now.
is TJ. You never heard really AB say stuff about Tomlin. Pickens is basically spitting in Tomlin's face every other week.
Yeah. I mean, so you're looking at Tomlin. You're looking at
Claypool's.
I mean, you're talking about those guys. You're looking at Pickens. I mean, anybody else that maybe that's a little more obscure. I mean, I don't know. Martavis Bryant wasn't crazy. He just had issues.
And Juju was just a clown.
Yeah. You got to turn your mic up. Your mic's low again. I don't know why.
Can you hear me?
Yep. So let me think. I mean, who else can you think that would be a wide receiver that's just like?
I like Pickett. You got Pickens, Claypool, AB. Those are got to be top 3. Like I would put. I think what Pickens is doing now is making him the craziest because something's not right with him upstairs. TJ.
Well, that's always.
I don't know if he's trying to get traded, which I'm guessing he's probably trying to do, but he's just. I don't know, man. That dude is. Claypool is just a clown.
Yeah.
But. Something's going. To me, it's like I don't know what they should have done. The wide receiver that they should have grabbed was Jarvis Landry.
Yeah.
Because guess what? He'd probably be drinking some Hennessy in the corner and just putting dudes in lockers. Seriously, because he's a tough dude. He would be punching guys in the face. Yeah. I mean, what's his name? Anthony, the guy that they got from the Rams. He's not that type of dude.
No,
to be
not.
putting a room in, why don't you bring in Hines Ward and just have him speak to these dudes?
Yeah.
See what happens.
I'd make a wide receiver coach.
Either that or bring in Joe Green.
Yeah.
And just have him stare right into Pickens and have Deontay and him, just those two, just staring into him. Just see what happens.
The one, if you're going to do that with anybody, you got to just bring in Harrison. Because Harrison could still take you out.
But Harrison was a clown there when he was there towards the end too.
Well, he was toward the end, but now he's back into the fold. And do you think? I mean, he would love nothing more than to break an offensive player. I don't think he cares. I don't even think he cares who he plays for.
I agree too. Last
if you see him in a dark alley, what do you do if you run into Harrison?
There's two. If the aliens came down tomorrow, there's 2 humans that I would say, hey, you're fighting one of these 2 people on the planet. One is him. The other one is Brock Lesnar. Though you take those 2 humans and you put them in front of the aliens and say, these are our two gladiators. Here you go. Have at it.
Yeah, that's a good call.
So last question from there. She got a bunch of, but I'm going to kind of sum it up here. seems like teams either retool on wide receiver and quarterback next year and possibly part ways with Najee. Um, should the Steelers try to move up and get a quarterback in this draft, or would you take the best available athlete that slips to you?
I don't think they're going to do this, but I think they should go up and get a quarterback.
No, they're not. They're not.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do it, but I think they need to. Or they got to, I think it's going to sound crazy. I think some of it's going to deal with what happens with the Bears.
What do you mean?
I mean, where's Fields going to go?
TJ, I don't want any more Chicago garbage on this team.
I understand.
Don't care where he goes. I don't want any more. That's what's, there's another thing. The more Bears you're bringing here is absolutely destroying this franchise.
Yeah.
We're turning into the Bears. Get him out of here. I don't want any Bears on this team. Allen Robinson, Mitch Trubisky, the guard. Get him out of here. I don't want any more Bears on this team. We're turning into the damn Bears. I don't need this loser franchise just infesting our blood and getting into our stream. Get out of here.
I'll tell you what, if they could figure out a way to get that kid from LSU.
TJ, you know they're not. You know they're going to bring, if Tomlin stays, they're going to bring in another. I don't even think Tomlin stays, they're going to bring in, and they're going to have say, Kenny, here's your. They have so many glaring holes. I don't know if the quarterback position is like, hey, let's do this.
Dude, look at Houston.
I understand, but they had like 2 first-round picks.
I get it, but look at Houston. The team around him is not that great. But you get a guy that just could play the – I mean, dude, can you imagine? You take him and you put him anywhere else except for the Steelers probably.
To me, what if you miss again?
I mean, that's just – you always roll the dice with quarterbacks.
To me, it's like you need to – there's so many holes in this team, dude. To me, it's like you need to shore up your line. I don't give a damn what quarterback you bring in. I don't care what quarterback you bring in. If your line stinks,
yeah,
they're going to die.
Well, again, I think you have scheme issues too. So if you have a better scheme,
agree. I agree with
that's good. But you need to have somebody that can make basic throws. Are you convinced that Kenny Pickett can make every throw that an NFL quarterback needs to make under duress?
I don't know.
It's 2 years. I don't know. TJ, I'm not convinced he can be healthy enough to be a quarterback in the NFL.
The scheme is so bad.
I get that. I don't know. But, I mean, so here we are again. It's his second year.
Yeah.
He misses multiple games.
Yeah.
So at some point, it's not just, your head. It's not just your arm.
TJ, but you remember Ben, part of it. I think early on, Ben missed a lot of games too.
Ben was, his rookie year, he didn't miss a lot of games. He was a warrior. He got smacked around.
But he still missed. There were still skirts where he missed games. I remember Charlie Batch being in. I remember guys being in 2
or 3 games, stuff like that. But this right now, Ben did that as he got a little bit older and he was proven. Kenny is not. What has he earned yet? Think about right now. Joe Flacco this year had more touchdowns in one game than Kenny's had all season.
TJ, I don't disagree with you, but TJ, it's like, to me, it's tough to judge him when I'm watching Joe Flacco play and dude's running wide open everywhere.
Again, scheme's important, and we have no scheme.
And you can't tell me that, because the dude that's coaching in the Texans came from, I believe, the Niners staff. Dudes are running wide open for a lot of these guys. Yeah. I see that every once in a while for the Steelers. The guys are wide open. He may miss, but not very often. Like
our schemes are terrible.
Are free.
And so, I would think a new offensive coordinator would come in and they would bring discipline and they would bring in the offense just looks messy. It looks bad.
The 2 dudes, I agree with you. I like the guy from LSU and I've heard the guy from Washington. The tricky part is the dude from Washington is like a year younger than Kenny.
Yeah.
So you're in the same boat there. The guy from LSU, dude, he's going to be 23. Or he's 23. He's 23 now.
Mm-hmm.
That's still decent. It's still pretty old for a quarterback coming out. So you're in the same boat. Like, what are you going to me, it's like you go with Kenny, you got to bring in somebody that's a backup, like somebody like reasonable, like a Geno Smith or something like that. Bring him in and back up Kenny, push Kenny, do something.
Why do that? I'd bring in somebody that's close to him and say, you guys duke it out.
What if they both stink?
then you fish again. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I would not bring in an older backup. I would bring somebody to push him because here's the reality. Maybe Kenny is a backup.
I don't agree with you, but I don't disagree with you. But to me, you're going to have to slide into probably at least the top 10, top 8 to
Without a
get that.
doubt. Or you got to trade something away. I mean,
What are you going to trade away?
I don't know. I mean, you got to figure something. I mean, probably picks. They're probably going to trade a person away, unless they get. I mean, you're to a place. You know they're going to draft a wide receiver.
I got to take this off. My
That's
head
okay.
is
Holy
Deontay. Moly.
They're not giving Deontay probably another deal.
But here's the thing: you draft that means you got to draft a wideout.
You do.
So you can't be.
Do you see any scenario where they don't draft a wide receiver this year?
No, they have to. They have to.
Yeah, I mean,
they have to.
I think priorities are. I think if you got a chance to get a QB, get him. You got to get a center. There's no doubt. They got to grab an inside backer somewhere.
I don't think you're going to get an inside backer. I think you're okay with inside backer. You guys will come back. I think you'll be all right. To me, what would solve everything? To me, it's going to solve your pass rush. It's probably going to solve your defensive line a little bit. If you somehow get another lockdown corner and you got 2 corners.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's gonna help the defense a lot.
Oh, without
that's why to me, like I've seen mocks where they got Kool-Aid, whatever his name is, and dude, I would love if they drafted that. I think his name is actually Kool-Aid from Alabama, the cornerback. Yeah. Dude, if they draft a guy named that, I would even if he sucked, I'd immediately get that dude's jersey, just have Kool-Aid on the back of my body, and I'd dress up in something red to look fat and just be pushing through walls. But if you get that corner, you get that, and. But again, I don't know, man. I just want to. I think they have pieces on offense. I just got to see a better scheme.
We need a better scheme, and they need a. I mean, isn't it weird? Like Dotson now is like the top-rated guard in the league.
I know. It's painful to see, and even the guy that I couldn't stand, they traded the Texans, and he wasn't that bad.
I know. The scheme is a big deal.
The scheme's a big thing, and to me. The one thing I always go back to it is like there's something with Kenny in the fourth quarter. TJ, at some point in time, if you have a good coordinator, that's going to pull that has to be pulled out. So there's something there. Dudes just don't do that. I could see if it happened 1 or 2 times. Like I look at Justin.
I get it.
That's my bugaboo with Justin Fields. Do I think he's good? Sure, but when money's on the table, dude, that dude chokes games away. Last year, they could have won probably when they had their 3, whatever. They probably could have won 7 or 8 games where they were winning. Their defense was crap, but their quarterback couldn't complete that one drive at the end of the game. That's what gets me nervous about that dude. When time's on the table, I think he only has like 1 or 2 comeback wins since he's been in the league, which is crazy to me. That's the one thing I lean back on with Kenny. I'm kind of going, dude has something. It just needs to be pulled out as a consistency.
So the question is going to be this: are they going to be aggressive enough to bring in somebody to change their scheme? I mean, I think it seems to me like that now the Rooneys are getting a little bit more hands-on. The coordinator, I think, is not going to be. I think you'll see Omar Khan to be part of it. I'll tell you what. Here's the reality. I mean, I trust Omar Khan, so I can see them grabbing somebody. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me even if they grab somebody from Philly's organization. They seem to have a close tie with Philly from an offensive standpoint.
Their offense stinks though this year though too.
It does.
It's very stagnant. I'm not touching TJ again. I'm going to where I know people are exploding. It's Miami. It's San Francisco. That's where I'm going. Or for me the home run hire, the home run if you can get it. And I think they'd extend Tomlin. Tomlin would stay and do this if you can get it. Washington's going to clean house. Go get Eric Bieniemy to run your offense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because what he did with that dude in Washington this year, Sam Howell, kid played pretty well.
Yeah.
And he's a type of dude, from everything you hear, he's a no nonsense type of dude. So guys like Pickens and guys like they'll fall in line. If they don't want to fall in line, they'll get the hell out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. I would love to see him. I wish I would have got him last year. The question is this: do you think he'll have an opportunity to be a head coach somewhere?
I don't. Because what you had a year in Washington to prove yourself. I don't think anybody's going to say, yeah, come run my organization.
I would have loved to see him and the dude that's in Minnesota being our defense coordinator.
Yeah, me too.
Bieniemy and Flores, that's a totally different team.
To me, there's no reason why The dudes running the defense for the Steelers now should have been there over Flores. I would have said, hey, go take a hike. Flores is here. We're good.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm with you. Anything else in the Yinzer mailbag?
No.
Okay. Well, that's it. Again, if you got any questions you want to ask us, just email us at yinzerbros@gmail.com. And hopefully we'll get it right on the program. Even though we're going to look at Cincinnati, let's just be real. I don't even really think there's any scheme at all that we need to deal with Cincinnati. I think it's just going to come down to what we're going to do.
TJ, they got guys like me and you playing safety this week.
I know.
We're bad to do.
You're right. You're totally bad. I think that's garbage, too. You can't just suspend that guy through the rest of the year. Casey, that's nuts.
I mean, I agree. I mean, what do you think he's going to make a difference, though? Not really. TJ, I trust me. He was playing, and guess who I saw getting just smoked 97% of the time? 38. That dude, get him off the field. He can't. He couldn't cover me or you. I'd be like out there like shake.
Boy, Mika's had a bad year too, man. He's been injured a lot this year too.
He's playing. He had a tennis club on his hand, and I get it. He's beat up, but dude, no, Minka's fine.
No.
Fine.
So I think right now, it starts for us on offense. What are we going to get out of Mason Rudolph?
Oh God Almighty! Dude.
He's the guy.
If you were Mason, would you have came in the last 2 minutes? I'd be like, no.
You know what? I mean, you got to. I think there's still part of his heart that he wants to stick it to everybody. He wants to come out and say, and you gotta love a guy that's got an opportunity to say, you know what, this is what I got. You treated me like crap. I'm still going to show you everything. Because let's be real, if he doesn't come back with us, this gives him an opportunity at least to show anybody else in the league that he's got something in him. It's the perfect storm for him.
TJ, if he does do well, the one thing that I want to 100% tune into is Ben's show, because it's going to be absolutely hilarious to see Ben try to give him no credit for anything and be like, yeah, the offensive line was blocking, receivers were catching balls.
Yeah,
it's going to be funny. I've seen this experience with Mason. It's gonna be brutal, TJ. You think Mitch was bad? This at least like Mitch could kind of like Mitch is bad, but he could like run a little bit. Mason's just like a statue. He's gonna.
Yeah, but Mason could read defenses probably a little bit better than Mitch.
Can he?
Who can't? One read Trubisky.
That's true. I mean, but just Mason is like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I said, I would love to see it, but it's just.
We're gonna say. I mean, I have no faith in any of it at all, and. It's ridiculous. Worst case scenario is he goes down and Trubisky's got to come back in and he throws like 3 picks.
Well, my question is like, say Mason does do well. Is there any way he starts the following week if Kenny's back? Anyway.
I would say this. Would you be really pressed to get Kenny back?
You have to. You have to see what you have. It's 2 more games to see what you have to evaluate him. Because theoretically, Kenny played that. I mean, it was the first game after Canada. He had the best game of his career against Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Do I think the Steelers lose against? Before he got hurt, I think that was like a touchdown game against Arizona.
It was.
And Mitch came in and was just throwing the ball up to whoever.
Yeah.
And do I think they beat New England if Kenny's playing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
it was the perfect storm. You get the short week, and then last week, I mean, he's just bad.
So to me, it's like I still think you go even if unless Mason comes out and throws for 400 yards and 4 TDs, if he has a normal, which I think he's going to have, is about 190 yards passing, maybe a TD, and maybe a pick. You play Kenny next week.
I think that's all the scheme allows you to do. Really, I think the scheme it's a bad scheme.
I don't think it is because, truthfully, Kenny threw as soon as he left. Kenny jotted for 270 against this same defense, dude. Yeah. And this defense is minus more players than they were last time. Kenny threw for 278 against his team.
Yeah, which is still like
it stinks. I agree.
That's not
it
great.
Stinks.
I mean, think about what we're excited about. When he throws a touchdown, we get giddy. That dude from what that guy? What's the Italian dude from the Giants is chucking 3 and 4. We've not even seen that in the last couple of years. We haven't seen that since Ben's been gone.
But you rarely saw with Ben even his last year. It would happen like
Well,
once or
dude,
twice
his
a game.
arm was like connected with like duct tape and stuff.
But to me, that's a scheme, dude. It's like you
I think the
can't
scheme
tell
is
me it's not
terrible.
the scheme, man.
Wait, no, I'm 100% with you, which also then irritates me because I mean, Mike Tomlin is a professional level coach.
I agree. That's what drives me nuts. I think it's pure arrogance, TJ. I do. I
Could
really
be.
do.
So you know what? So then now your owners come in and they say, Tom or Mike, we love you. We're going to give you your offense coordinator. We're going to give you your defense coordinator. Make them work. If you can't make them work, you're gone. I mean, they did that with Haley before. So why can't they do that again?
I just I don't know what Tomlin sees in some of these coaches, dude.
I think he is loyal sometimes to a fault to these guys. And I think literally, I think you're right. There's pride and arrogance there thinking, it's the same thing. It's not unlike, Belichick, when he did whatchamacallit, when he moved him from defense to
Okay.
offense. I mean, who does that?
I know.
You know who does that? Arrogant people that think, well, I could just do whatever I want and it's not going to make any difference anyway because we'll still win. And you're like, Patricia, are you out of your mind?
I agree.
It's at the highest level of competition.
I agree, man.
To me, so there is some of Tomlin in there too. I don't understand that. And what breaks my heart is this: he's got guys that he's built great relationships with, but a lot of them now are calling for his tenure. They're like, he's done. It's got to break the dude's heart.
I do, but I do. I think if he leaves, he'll be successful somewhere else. I do. It just comes to a point in time. It's like, dude, it's you may just it may be time to just get new. It's been 16 years, dude. It may be just time to get something new in this, and it may stink, but we may go, he may go on an Andy Reid like run. Say he gets with the Chargers and gets with Herbert, and he has a quarterback. He may go on some crazy run and win a couple Super Bowls. But, dude, it's sometimes you got to kind of just.
He may hire Matt Canada again.
That's true. That's true. That
So
buffoon.
what good is a Herbert if your stuff? He is the one that elevated Canada. Think about that.
TJ, I'll know all I need to know if Tomlin stays around. They extend him in 2 years from now. Second round pick is Dino Tomlin from. That's when I'll be like, I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah.
That's when I turn my season tickets. I'm done forever.
No, I think he is the he's going to be the whatever happens with Mason this week is going to be how the Steelers go. Because I think their defenses is a fraud too. I think right now, I don't know how good their defense is going to be either.
Dude, I've never seen them get ran on like they did against Indy last week. Mm-hmm. I think they ran it 18 times straight right down their throat.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable to see, dude.
Again, and it sounds crazy. I think that's a scheme issue too.
To me, run defense is I don't think it's a scheme issue, TJ. I think that's when you come to stopping the run, playing defense, that's a want issue. That's not a scheme issue. That's linebackers putting their faces in between a pulling guard and your secondary wanting to tackle. And I saw none of that.
I think we talk about that D line a lot. I think the linebacker core, I think they're too decimated.
I don't know, man. To me, stopping the run was always about growing up was always about want to. It was putting your face in and taking those bumps to kind of stop dudes in front of you.
I think that's definitely part of it, but there's just
I think their D line's healthy. It has been all year.
I agree. I think their linebackers are struggling. I do like the fact that at least they're breaking some of the traditional stuff to where at least they're letting Porter float on usually their best dude, which is good, rather than locking down a side. Mm-hmm. That never made sense to me either. That's arrogance too. I'm like, okay, no, I'm sorry. That guy is going to be just because they both, no, it stinks. Change it, So maybe this is maybe Tomlin needed this wake up call. I don't know. If it gets a little bit more humble and they could bring in, I'll tell you what, if they could figure out how to get Bieniemy in here and, and then figure out something different on defense. Mm-hmm. I would be totally happy with that because I think it's more than just they need a better scheme, but they need better. They've gotten soft.
They have gotten soft. That's a great. You know the one word that you wanted me to say. Mm-hmm. That's Suff. This team, everything about this whole the suff. That's what I feel that I watch the Pittsburgh Steelers. The 2023 Pittsburgh Steelers. Suff is the word.
Yeah.
Suff.
I would say
Mentally soft, physically soft, and emotionally soft. They're soft
agree.
across the board.
I agree. The other word I would use too is, until they got it figured out, is I think they're a little selfish too. And when I look at those wide receivers and stuff, and I understand getting frustrated, but they all want to get theirs. There's selfishness.
And it comes back to being emotionally soft.
It does.
Soft. Mentally
Yeah.
soft.
You're right. You're right. I mean, you look at, like, even Pickens struggles. He is. That just tells me you're not mentally strong.
But somebody, and they made a good point. When you saw Pickens last year on film, he was blocking,
Oh yeah.
murdering people. So it tells me, is it the player that you drafted, or is it this culture that you're throwing him into? That's what gets me more nervous than anything, dude. I'm kind of going. So I saw somebody at that point, kind of going, "Holy crap, man!" It's kind of like you see it. So he was Pickens last year was a rookie. He was blocking, getting his face dirty, and now it's like, So it's like I don't. Something's going on that. It's been too long in that receiver room. I don't know what it is. I do like hearing Porter Jr. talk a little bit now, because he seems like he's got a little dog in him. Even now, when he's speaking out, I just think give him a year or two. If this was a year or two later, I think Porter would be all up in Pickens' face.
Yeah.
Because I think he has that dog in him. I'm just kind of seeing that early. But I don't know, man. I'm just stunned Cam or one of those dudes just don't grab him by the throat and just being like, all the receivers be like, this isn't it.
Yeah. Somebody's got to stick. I wish TJ'd get a little bit more. I mean, how do you? If TJ were to grab you and shake you around a little bit, what do you say?
My head would fall off. I'd be like a teddy bear. I'd be like a big teddy bear. My boobies would be flapping.
That's true.
Arms would rip off, and he would just. I would crap my pants. I'd imagine him like shaking you down with that black visor on, no pads on, just a helmet with a black visor on.
It'd be scary.
So what do you think about the game?
Right now I can't see us winning. I mean, I think if we do win, I think it's on Mason's shoulders. I don't think we're going to the bubble burst with, well, if we can just keep it close, we'll be in a rock fight with them. You need heart for that. And I think they lost heart for that. And right now, I think they're leaderless without him. So Mason's going to have to step up and do something great. So I don't think, I would be shocked if they beat Cincy, because we're just in a downward spiral, and Cincy's motivated. They're going for the playoffs. They get in. I mean, who wants to face the Bengals in the playoffs? Because you don't know when everything finally kicks back on.
They stink, TJ. They stink.
I mean, if their offense kicks on, they could score a bunch of points quick.
They stink.
Who scares you more, them or Cleveland?
Cleveland.
Even with their quarterback situation right now?
TJ, that defense, I do not want to. If I'm an AFC team, I do not want to face that defense. Don't want to face it.
I don't think
that
Cleveland can they put up enough points though?
They've been putting up 30 points with Joe Flacco throwing the ball. I mean, past 3 games.
That's going to disappear.
Okay, but do you think Mr. Browning's going to stick around? This dude's going to stick around doing this?
No.
And Cincinnati's defense stinks. At least Cleveland can travel. If you go, you can travel with a good defense.
Yeah,
they'll keep you in a game. The one team that I said that there's no way in God's creation, and this was, I think, when they lost. After they lost to I think it was the Giants or somebody bad. I go, if somehow the Buffalo Bills get hot and they get the playoffs, they're not only going to win the AFC, they're going to win the whole thing.
Yeah, I called that. They're getting hot at the right time.
The Super Bowl, they're going to win the whole thing.
Yeah,
like as a 6 seed, they get as a 6 seed, they're going to run the table and they're going to beat everybody, and they're going to beat the NFC representative in the Super Bowl. I can feel it in my bones right now.
That'd be great. I don't want to say I'm done with.
But for me, I'm still going with what I predicted pretty much at week 3 or 4.
Yeah.
That this season's going to be like this. And what's going to happen to me at week 17 or week 18? I'm going to be watching some bum-ass team having to win for us to get into the playoffs. So, TJ, I'm going to stick with that. I think they're going to win this week.
Holy crap.
Do I think Mason's going to have a quote-unquote – no, I think they're going to win a rock fight this week. I think they're going to – Kenny's going to come back. They're going to go to Seattle. They're going to win. and I think Baltimore is going to have anything to play for, and they're going to beat Baltimore, and we're going to finish with 10 wins, and we're not going to make the playoffs because we're going to need some other people to do our dirty work. That's what I think is going to happen, and I'm sticking to it. I need 9 wins more than any human on this planet, TJ. 10 would be great. I need 9. So that's what I'm thinking is going to happen, and that's what I'm seeing. We're going to be going a couple weeks from now going, oh, my God, Steelers get in. They're going to be a dangerous out.
Well, I hope you're right, Tim. I've lost.
And you know me, because I think I've picked gloom and doom for the past 3 weeks.
You have. No, you have. All right, those are our picks. We'll be talking back with you next week. For those of you, don't forget, we're your Yinzer Bros. We love you. Have a great Christmas. We hope everything's great. If you got some fairy dust, now would be the time to send some good vibes and pray for Mason, because only God knows what could happen to that young man. I don't know, or that old guy, whatever he is now.
This guy, he's leading us to a big win tomorrow. I can feel it.
We'll see. I don't know.
One way or another, I'm going to be drunk out of my mind, and it's going to be because of this guy.
If it goes south, Tim may be on suicide watch.
I'll shatter my TV. My wife will probably take a video of it. So.
All right, I'm TJ. I'm here with my brother Tim. We're the Yinzer Bros. If you like what you heard, pass it along to your friends and your neighbors. Don't forget, stay classy, Pittsburgh.
We're not number 1 anymore out here. We're struggling, but we'll get it back.
I hope. See ya.